It's very painful to be in a country where you can barely save your money. All you do is spend, spend, spend. Getting a car is no longer a flex. It's not. It's a fucking bill. All day. All day. If it's not gas, if it's not insurance, it's a ticket, it's something else wrong with the car. And these mechanics are charging way too much. Way too much. I mean, at this point, if I didn't have kids, I would be taking a bus or fucking walking and not driving. Because it makes no sense why my car that I own, I don't pay no monthly payment on this car. It costs so much to maintain a lot of things about this car. Like just parking. You can't even enjoy the freedom and peace of having a car in this country. Seriously. And people that take buses, I envy you. I really do.
Can the universe just give me a break? Just a little break. That would be great. Like, it feels absolutely impossible to make it in this stupid country when you're younger. Like, the boomers just absolutely fucked everything. Like, everywhere is too expensive to rent from, or needs you to, like, sign over your, firstborn child to rent a studio apartment for $1,500. Oh, your car broke down? Oh, you mean your 2001 Corolla that was barely functioning? It finally broke down? Oh, that sucks. Good luck finding a used car under $15,000 that isn't a absolute disaster. Oh, you want good health care? Go to Europe. And God forbid I ask to live in a non-abusive household. But, I'm living with my family. My childhood home. I hate it.
People like to use the fact that the United States of America has consistently maintained one of the richest and strongest economies on the entire planet for over a century now as evidence towards why capitalism is superior to socialism. But have you ever stopped to think that maybe, just maybe, the reason that their economy stays so rich and strong is because they're doing it at the expense of the labor force which upholds the economy being weak and poor? Yeah, of course the economy's always banging. They don't spend any of the money on the people, right? Of course the economy's banging. We have to work more and more and more and more hours just to have barely enough money to get by. And then it has such a physical and mental toll on us that we get sick real young. And guess what? They don't use any of that money to let us go to the hospital or the doctor. Yeah, the economy is amazing because the government doesn't fucking care about us.
Okay guys, I just got my paycheck from the minimum wage paying job that I have, and it got me wondering, who the hell decided it's okay to tax over minimum wage? So this is the amount of money that I make in an hour after taxes, $6.52. And this is the price of a coffee. It's not even venti and Starbucks. It's just a normal medium cup coffee. You know we're cooked if an hour of our life is equal to 1 cup of coffee, bro.
Oh, McDonald's is lowering their prices again? That's cute. You mean after 4 straight years of gouging Americans during record inflation? And now that people are fed up and walking away, now you're all about being affordable again? Please. You were supposed to be the budget option. The place that parents could go to get a quick bite for their kids without breaking the bank. But no, you had to be greedy. You had to take advantage of people just because you could. Now a Big Mac meal is over $15. That's not fast food. That is robbery with a drive-thru. And now you really want to make us feel like you're doing us a favor by cutting the prices down. Nah, we see right the F through what you're doing. All of you greedy corporations acting like you're doing us a favor by slashing your prices, we see right through the BS. America deserves so much better than fake garbage food that's overpriced and fake corporate apologies. Now the bottom line is, you lost our trust, you lost our business, you had to get greedy and screw over the American people, and now that's it. We're not McLovin' it, okay? We are done with your BS. And that's not just McDonald's. That's a lot of these greedy ass corporations. So if you agree with me, repost this and let me know what you think in the comments. Are you still going to McDonald's? Do you find it to be affordable? Let me know.
Look, I just went to the grocery store. I didn't even get a lot, I promise. And tell me this. Tell me why a handful of groceries cost me almost $200 fucking. Come on, I'm young. I don't deserve this shit.
Well, the GDP report is out for the first quarter of 2025. You'll see that Donald Trump shrunk the economy by 0.3%. But he didn't shrink the economy by 0.3%. He shrank it by at least 2.5%. Because if you look back at the fourth quarter trend line, you'll see Joe Biden's economy was set to grow 2 to 3% in Q1 if you just didn't do anything to it. But even recognizing that he cut economic output by at least 2% doesn't tell the whole story. Because Trump took office at the end of January and the first quarter ended on March 31st, meaning he did all of this damage in barely 2 months. So is the second quarter going to get any better? Hell no. It was the second quarter when he announced his trade war with China. It was the second quarter when he announced catastrophic import taxes on American businesses. The second quarter when he announced massive funding cuts to research universities in the United States. And it was the second quarter when Amazon announced they were cutting orders from China and reducing business with UPS, resulting in the layoff of 20,000 blue-collar delivery drivers. Do you know what those jobs pay? Full-time delivery driver in the United States earns an average total compensation of $145,000 a year, which includes $0 in healthcare premiums, up to 7 weeks of paid vacation, up to 18 days off for holidays, paid leave and option days, and a pension plan. That's just the regular delivery drivers. The long-haul people get paid even more. And all of this is for what exactly? A job in a lumber mill or a textile factory in a red right-to-work state getting paid $11 an hour with no benefits? Please. Trump is doing nothing more than every Republican president has done since Reagan. Ruin the economy, ruin the job market, and ruin our retirement accounts. Also, he and his fellow billionaires can buy the dip.
$72 in groceries. This is why people starve. Why is this $72 in groceries? Without my savings card, that would have been $83. These 2 packs of hot dogs alone were $5.49. Why? Because I am a pescatarian. Don't cancel me. It was $5.99. $5.29 for this. Why is everything like $5 and up? Like this, the cheapest thing was this asparagus, which was $1.43, which I'm thoroughly surprised because typically it's so much more expensive. And then these power waffles are $4.99. And obviously cheese is hella expensive, but this was like one of the cheapest ones I could find. And then on top of that, I freeze my cheese. It's not like I eat it all in a day or two. I just freeze it. Once again, I'm pescatarian, so I eat plant-based chili. Tell me why this costs $5.99. Like this right here, really, dude, really?
All right, so look, since everything started getting worse in America, I started noticing this trend, this theme of we're all in this together. But are we? Are we really in this together? That's what I can't help but think. It just seems really suspicious that it takes the banking system to collapse. It takes the economy to fall. It takes discovering that your president ain't shit. It takes realizing that all the things you worked hard for are just taken away by the greed and the collateral damage of capitalism, you know what I mean? It takes you losing your retirement fund. It takes you losing your job. It takes you feeling like you have nothing else to live for anymore in this country for you to finally get online and in the world and try to interact with people and start talking about, we're all in this together. You can't see how that seems suspicious. You can't see how, to people who've been down for a long time, hearing that, it sounds like bullshit. And it's just like, bruh, the stuff that you're going through right now, we've been going through for a long time. And where your ass was at then, you know what I mean? Where your ass was at when we needed a helping hand. But now that your stocks fell and you lost your 401k, now we're all in this together. Yes, I get the concept of we're all humans. We all live on the same planet, which is very true. We do occupy the same spaces and we do have to live together and function in a positive way in order for us to have a life here on this planet. I get that part. But I'm saying is you cannot expect black people to be overwhelmingly excited and enthusiastic or just run into the streets to be all in this together when we've been in this alone for a long time. So, I don't know, bro. I don't know. It seems real suspicious. It seems real suspicious.
Tesla is cooked, you guys. I mean, it's down another 4 to 5% today. And when you look at the sales data and then you look at the leasing deals that they're running, I mean, they are just trying everything to get people to buy or lease a Tesla. And I'm not gonna lie, like the Model 3 Performance, that is a good car, but it's Elon Musk. And I think just a lot of people who would otherwise buy a Tesla, I mean, I'm not saying he's not smart. He has a huge company, but I think a critical error was made here. Supporting the political party that doesn't align with electric vehicles. I mean, I'm sure there's some long-term play here, but for the meantime, I could see this really being the thing that causes the board, who is usually very friendly to Elon Musk, to consider a new CEO. Because to be honest, I mean, when you look not just at US data, but European sales data as well, like Germany, it is off a cliff when it comes to demand for Tesla. And I think at this point, if you're going to save the sales data, you need a new leader. And I don't even know if that would do it. I genuinely think Tesla is in a tough spot right now, and I think it's cooked.
I just bought a watermelon for $9, guys. $9 for a freaking watermelon. And this watermelon is not a fancy watermelon, okay? It's not from Whole Foods. It's not organic. It's an Albertsons watermelon for $9. Last year they were like $5, and even then I was like, $5 for a watermelon? God damn, that's expensive. But $9, $9.99, not even $9, almost $10 for a watermelon is insane. Like, I don't know how I'm going to continue to be able to feed my kids with the way things are going. Like, everything is just rising expeditiously, and I'm nervous. You should be nervous. $10 for a watermelon? I didn't eat the watermelon, but are we really at that place where we're having to sacrifice fruits and vegetables to feed our kids? Like, that's insanity. This is crazy. $10 for a watermelon? That watermelon better be freaking good when I cut it, or else I'm gonna be pissed.
A lot of y'all don't have empathy. I've been seeing a lot of people who have student loans on here crying because their credit have dropped 100 points, 170 points, 90 points. People on here crying. And there's these a-holes in the comments talking about something. You knew what you was doing. You was getting credit. You meant not credit, but student loans. You knew this and that, this and that. You wasn't crying. You was getting these loans. Y'all be forgetting that life happens. Like, I don't know what social media done to y'all, but y'all are so insensitive to shit. My credit has been dinged like 13 times. Am I going to come on here and cry to y'all? Hell no. But I already called these people 13, 14 times, y'all. I went to school for kinesiology and I have my nursing degree. Life don't always play out how you want it to. Okay? And I ain't been paying my needs. I have to call these people, and I done got on a payment plan. I got all this, like, y'all so insensitive. Y'all so quick to hop on somebody's comments and tear somebody down just because it ain't you. Just know it's going to always be you next. But watch how y'all talking to people.
8 billion people on the planet, probably 7.5 billion if you take out North Korea, Cuba, the United States, and some remote places where Chinese products don't make it to. Basically, China has about 7.5 billion consumers to which they can sell their products. And so the United States in the last week or so, each time these officials have been asked, has China reached out to you? Has China reached out to you about the tariffs? The Americans keep claiming that they have. And then the Chinese officials say, no, we haven't. You're 14% of our market. Like, if you want to play ball, then play ball. That's the deal that we've had for the longest time. But we're not going to, just allow you to do this to our country and to blame us and bully us. And of course, China's the adult in the room. But really, when you think about it, they've still got 7.5 billion potential customers for their products, and they are the factory of the world. They can manufacture for everybody. They produce high quality products, things that are made in the States, that may be a legend of American quality, but for the most part, things you buy from China are often much more precise, better manufactured, higher quality. That's the reason that they make so many things in China. And they've got the capacity to do it. Their billion people are producing the products for the rest of the world and doing it very well. I'm getting a bit of a laugh out of, I guess, the U.S. arrogance, their thought that our consumers are the ones that everybody wants. Again, they are not getting the tariff money because the products are not being shipped in. As I say, as I've said before, the ships have stopped coming, and we're going to see shortages in the stores soon. So it's not like the U.S. government is raking in the money from tariffs. Of course, if the production moves to the States, which it won't, because you're not going to start producing when you've only got 349 million clients. If you're producing in China for 7.5 billion people, you're not going to set up to produce for that small number in the U.S., except big pickup trucks, which is really seems to be the thing that they produce, and military equipment. If you start producing those things in the States, then you're not getting that revenue from those tariffs. So they're not getting the tariff revenues because the stuff's not coming. It's not being produced in the States, and there's just going to be shortages in the States. None of it makes any sense. I mean, what does make sense is Trump wants to be on TV and is concerned about ratings, even now, strangely, which just indicates he's a very bizarre man. It seems to me that his main motivation is to be a jerk to the people he thinks are his enemies, and to make sure that he's perpetually talked about. And unfortunately, that's not in the interest of the United States or the people of the U.S.
I think a lot of people would say that my life story is the embodiment of the American dream. I was born to a single mom. We were poor for most of my childhood, faced a lot of hardship, a lot of adversity. We were homeless at times. Eventually, towards the end of high school, her substance abuse, her mental health took a decline. I started living on my own at 17. We were estranged, yada, yada, yada. I worked really hard my whole life, did well in school, got almost a full ride to BC, graduated right out of school. I had a 6-figure job. I would say I'm pretty successful now. So you might think I would sit here and say, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Work hard. The American dream is real. Hell no, it's not. It's not real. And part of it's real, but it is built on so much privilege and luck. And no one ever talks about that part. And I have so many stories I can share about how I made it by the skin of my teeth. And to this day, I'm still fighting so hard because it's hard to support yourself fully on your own and have no family as a backup. And all those stories are in the book that I'm writing and hopefully we'll have out one day. But today I thought I would focus on the stars that aligned and the luck I had that allowed me to be successful, because people always say, like, why can't this person just work harder, blah, blah, blah. There's so many things that get in the way, and there's so many things in areas where I lucked out that allowed me to achieve the American dream, and I wanted to address those and why other people aren't in the same position I'm in or other successful people are. Because yes, there are a lot of people that are born into poor families and make it out and are rich and are wealthy, but there's way more people that are born into the same fate, work as hard or even harder, and don't get the same results. So my number one privilege, education. So first of all, I was born and raised Massachusetts. Best education in the country. I couldn't afford to go to a private school, obviously, so I went to public schools. I also happened to luck out and that I went to Grafton Public Schools and Tantasco Public Schools, which are both really good school systems. They had AP classes, they had honors classes, National Honor Society, college prep. If I had gone to a school where the education wasn't as good, there weren't as many class offerings, they didn't help me apply to college, who knows where I'd be. And not only the school systems, like my mom, she fell off a little bit towards the end of my childhood, but she was a great mom when I was younger, and she read to me every night, and she taught me how to do math, and she told me, you will go to college no matter what. She was the first in her family to go to college. She didn't even graduate. I'm a first-generation college graduate, and that's because of my mom. And some people don't have parents that tell them that or sit down with them and teach them how to do things. And side note, reading is supposed to be taught by parents, not by teachers. So anyways, I lucked out in the education department. Number two, I'm an only child. And you might be thinking, why does that matter? but I didn't have any younger siblings to support or parents to support. So to back that up a little bit, I'm an only child. I always think about how when I was 5 years old, my mom had just married my stepdad and asked me, do you want a younger sibling? I don't know if she listened to me specifically, but I said no. And I'm like, thank God, because imagine if when I was supporting myself on my own, putting myself through college, working all these shifts at a restaurant, whatever, if I also had a sibling who was 6 years younger than me, who my mom couldn't take care of, I would have felt the burden to take care of them. And I know so many people who are the oldest child or have younger siblings and don't go to college so they can stay in their hometown and work and support their younger siblings. I was so lucky not to have that. And also with my mom, like, I supported us for a while, and then when I was 17, I was like, I'm out. I'm living on my own. I'm done supporting you. I gave her some money here and there. And this, like, I'm not proud of this. This eats me up. Sometimes I think I should have supported her more. It's a very complicated situation, but, like, I wasn't supporting my mom at the end of the day. Some people have to support their parents or help their parents pay the bills. So I was very privileged in that I was only supporting myself. Lastly, I'm white. And maybe you're thinking like, oh, the race card, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not even gonna dive into the whole like systemic racism and how I benefited from that. I'm just gonna talk about how I was doing some shady stuff. Mainly it was because I was poor and I was fighting for my life. But for example, I got pulled over for driving without insurance. I got pulled over for driving with a suspended license. I got pulled over after buying weed in a Cumbies parking lot. And I didn't really get in trouble for any of it. And I think a large part of that is like, look at me, like innocent, white, redhead girl. I got away with murder. And who's to say, like, maybe if I was black, if I was a person of color, maybe everything would be the same. I doubt it would be. And I know that in high school, when I was on welfare, when I was homeless, people audibly would make comments to me like, oh, look at that, like, poor girl on food stamps, whatever, because they, like, dressed worse than me, because they were a person of color, whatever. So I benefited infinitely from that. And the list goes on and on and on. I could talk about how I'm not disabled, how I'm not undocumented, whatever. My point is that the American dream, it's real for some people. Hard work can get you places, but only to a certain extent. And this country is systemically built for the rich to benefit, for the white to benefit, for a certain class of people to benefit. And I think we've lost sight of the true American dream of everyone being equal, everyone having opportunity, and not just a select few.
People don't even realize anymore. It's not even the cost of living no more. It's the cost of surviving. You like that. I don't think a lot of people are realizing this. There is no middle class. Boom, there's your bubble. I'm telling you now, the people who have it and the people who don't are so far apart from each other, it's not even funny. There is no reason somebody should be going bankrupt buying necessities to life. Like, why am I struggling to buy the bare minimum of stuff? I'm not trying to be fancy. I'm not trying to do none of that. I'm just trying to make it by. I'm still struggling. People don't even realize, let me slow down before I freaking blow a brain gasket, whatever the case may be. People don't even realize, and it's not even about race no more. Everybody is feeling this. I don't care if you red, grape, blue, white, yellow, orange, I don't care. The only color that these elite people care about is that green, that money. And if you don't have it, you're...
Learned that America is a third world country because of the rest of the world is so far in front of us in just about everything that I don't know where we have this false narrative that we're like the greatest country in the world, because we are definitely not, guys. Yeah, I'm sad to go back. There are so many countries out there that are just leaps and bounds in front of us in technology, society, everything. We should probably start spending a lot more money on building our country rather than trying to save everybody else, because we're not that great, guys. I can tell you firsthand, we are not doing great. But yeah, unfortunately, that's all I got to say about that topic for now. But yeah, I think anybody that's, flown to any other major city in the world can kind of speak to that as well.
Bro, this is how you know this economy is cooked, bro. This is how you know this economy is cooked. I was out shopping, bro. I went to buy some bananas. Guess how much did the banana cost me, bro? Take a guess how much did those bananas cost me, bro? Just take a guess how much those bananas. I bought 3 bananas. 1, 2, and 3. Just 3 bananas. Just 3 bananas, bro. Bro, this is crazy, bro. I used to be able to get those 3 bananas for like $3 or even less. Literally, 3 years back, bro. I used to be able to get those bananas for $3 or less. Literally. 3 bananas, they cost me $8.07 for three bananas. $8.07? Are you crazy, bro? 3 bananas, bro. $8.07, bro. That's crazy, bro. Bro, how are we supposed to afford our bills in this rate, bro? This is wild, bro. Like, 3 bananas, bro. That's it. Like, I don't know who could relate with me with this, but like, this was 3 bananas.
Hey everyone, I have a question. I want to know y'all's opinion. When you leave the house, does it automatically cost you $100, $200, $300, $400? Like if you leave your house, it costs so much money these days. Makes no sense. I went to Walmart, spent $359.26. I'm at the gas pumps now. Probably be another 40 or 50. So what's that, about 400? Then a lady called me. I've been looking for a storage, like a bench to go in front of my bed. And she said they got one in today if I wanted it. Went by there and spent another 100. So I should have just stayed home. It seems like if you leave the house these days, it costs. Like everything is $100, $200, $300. Do y'all feel the same way? Like the other day, my son's fixing to graduate. My daughter that's married and grown out the house, she had told my son, stay home long as you can. It costs to breathe. I believe it. Look, I'm loaded down, y'all. This is insane. So I want to know how y'all feel about it. Does it cost y'all like me when you leave the house?
Okay, serious question. Is it just me or does our economy feel cooked? Because every single day I look at the job market, I look at like layoffs continue to happen, the economy isn't in good shape. I mean, you look at Costco, for example, they're saying that literally like people are spending less money there. That means the CPI or Consumer Product Index is also down. Like, are we in a full-blown recession yet? Are we about to be? And also, I just read an article saying that literally there's a new virus that could be spreading to 50 states. Are we about to see another COVID-19 lockdown, more money printing, etc.? Hate to be so negative, but are we fucking cooked as an economy? Or is shit truly going to improve under Trumponomics, or are we fucking cooked for the next few years? This is obviously a big factor because of COVID-19, the money printing, inflation, all these variables. But are we cooked, or do you think things are actually going to improve? Comment below your thoughts.
Bro, why is everything so overpriced, bro? Tell me why I'm like, I go to Jimmy John's the other day because, you know, they got the new toasted sandwiches. You know I gotta get down. Like, yo, where's my money going, dog? Like, I'm losing money, bro. And I'm not even like, I should be more tuned in with what's going on because, bro, we is getting finessed. But we getting finessed, bro. Like, I shouldn't be having to pay $20 for half of a sandwich. So how much am I paying for a full sandwich? You feel me? Like, dang, bro, we getting finessed, bro. I'm cheap.
And then the TikTok video that I made about, I think America is a concentration camp. I made that video because when you think about it, bro, there's so many people that live out here in America, and there's so many people that work jobs, and we make just enough just to scrape by, and it's crazy. And don't mind this stain. I'm gonna clean this. I'm gonna clean my jacket. But it's really crazy to me because you feel like there's like a quote unquote like a slave master that's telling you what to do at X, Y, and Z, and then they know like you need this money, so you need to do what I say. Like, bro, like this is crazy. Yeah, for entrepreneurship is the way. Or entrepreneurship is the way.
So we can all probably easily agree on the fact that the American dream as it was sold to us is dead. And the reason why I say that is my idea of the American dream is to be able to afford things on an average salary with one income in the household and be able to save money while you're paying for everything else to be able to retire at an age that's reasonable so you can enjoy the rest of your life without having to work 40 hours a week when you're over 60 years old. I think that's ridiculous. Now, what we're seeing is there's dual income houses, right? Most houses now have both spouses working, and the retirement age just keeps going up, and savings aren't going up. The amount of money that people are saving is not increasing. The amount that you have to spend to live has increased so much. In 1980, you could buy a house for $50,000. Now the average home price is over $400,000. And that is insane to me, because the wages have not increased with the cost increase. So the American dream now is you work, your partner works, and you retire over the age of 70. Great. Great dream. Live the dream.
If you still think there's a such thing as an American dream, you get a rude awakening. I just went to Kroger to buy some eggs. They were literally $8 for a dozen of eggs. And if you think I'm lying, these eggs are literally $8, and them eggs is $12. If you think you better get a job, have kids, marry somebody, and buy a house, that ain't happening no more, bro. You're gonna have to get some type of side hustle or some type of second way of making money, bro. And you can't put all your eggs in one basket at a job, because if you get fired, what are you gonna do? You have no other options. This is the main reason why I decided to be an entrepreneur, because I know working a job is not for me. And I'm not saying you gotta be an entrepreneur, but you need to find some type of side hustle or something to, do outside of your job.
So I have come to realize that New York is not a place to raise a family. And I'm saying this because, this morning, as I'm getting up to get ready for work, my wife asked me if I could feed our son before I go. Normally, if I'm working, she takes overnight, and I wake up and I go about the day. But this morning she asked me, so I asked her, I'm gonna warm his bottle, jump in the shower real quick and come back. And he was a little bit more fussier than usual this morning. And I took him to the living area. I fed him a little bit. He was still fussy. I couldn't, I swaddled him. He's still fussy. And he didn't take all his feed, but I continued to, try and calm him down. But again, I'm getting ready for work, and time is going. And I just go to the front door and I open the door, and this child immediately stopped crying, as if he was saying, "All right, Dad, I know you have to go." All right. And he stopped crying, and I fed him the rest of his bottle. He drank it. I brought him to Mom. He laid in bed, and I ran out the house. And it just broke me that I had to leave my 3-week-old to go to work. Why is it like this? And the system is set up in a way where you have to always be working, have to always be making sure that you have a certain amount of money coming in because you have expenses, right? So, I got over that. I hopped in the car and I started driving. And then another thing occurred to me. There is no type. So, you already can't, be with your family because you have to work so much. The times that you do get to spend with your family, it's like you can't spend it at home because there is literally no yard space. This morning I was driving, there's no backyard, there's no front yard. I'm just passing this entire stretch. And in the US alone, there is an issue with obesity, and the age at which people are getting type 2 diabetes is getting younger and younger. And the person who made the blueprint for New York, they knew exactly what they were doing. They said, whoever lives here, they're gonna work until they retire. And even if they stop working after they retire, well, they can't even stop working because all of the expenses won't be covered with the retirement money. And it's just so sad. I can't have a peace of mind knowing that I'm able to spend quality time with my family and not be able to worry about work. I have to always worry about work. I have to always make sure that
you know, there's food on the table, there's shelter here, and it's just so sad. It's really just so sad. And you know, people talk about the American dream. This is not the American dream. This is not the American dream. You have to work so hard, and for what? You know, you work all these years and you stress yourself out, and before you know it, you get very ill that you can't even enjoy all of what you were working with. And you know, it's just heartbreaking to know now. Like I've been seeing it, and it's like it was normalized to me. But now that I have a son, and you know, just like this morning where I saw that I had to just get up and run out the house as if I'm kind of like rushing him to like hurry up and eat so that I can go to work. And of course, mom is doing a fantastic job, but the reality is it's tiring. It's tiring. So if she needs a break, of course I can give her a break, but to know that I have to now think about if I'm gonna be late for work, or I'm gonna say no, I'm not feeding him, and go to work and be early. It's really heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. Luckily enough, it's like he realized that, look, okay, dad has to go. Let me just be quiet, drink the bottle, and you know, and just relax. But that's just all I have to say. The American dream is not the American dream. And New York City, and I'm sure there's other places in the US, but I don't live in all the states. But I can only speak on New York, and this is not it. This is not it at all.
China, Japan, and South Korea are all three about to hold a conference where they discuss how they are collectively going to respond to Trump's tariffs. European countries are putting us on the dangerous watch list of places to travel. With these idiots at the helm, the country is going into a free fall, and we're going to have nobody on our side to help us pick up the pieces when it's all over.
The economy is cooked, you guys. The Federal Reserve just released its updated economic projections, and they're all worse across the board. The first is GDP growth. That was projected for this year at 2.1%. That's been revised down to 1.7%. The next is unemployment. That was projected to end the year at 4.3%. Now it's projected to end at 4.4%. The next is PCE inflation, which was projected to end the year at 2.5%. Now it's projected at 2.7%. And then core PCE inflation, which is the Fed's preferred method at measuring inflation, this was also projected to end the year at 2.5%. Now it's projected to end at 2.8%. So is the economy actually cooked? Well, kind of. That was mostly a hook to get you to watch, but it is going to be a more difficult economic environment across the board. Unemployment will be higher, and inflation will also likely be higher. And there is worry that we might move into stagflation territory, which, remember, this is the worst case scenario because you have stagnant economic growth, which is bad, but usually that comes with lower prices. When it comes to stagflation, prices actually continue to increase. Now, do I think this is going to happen? It's still unlikely, but the worries are increasing. If you like personal finance, world economics, and investing broken down simply, you're in the right place, so I hope to see you around for the next video.
No one wants to mess with Americans anymore. I don't know if you've been on World Talk, but people are done. I saw a video today of a Canadian being like, yeah, we're done with you. A Canadian. The nicest people. People who apologize for just like being in your bubble. I'm so sorry. They're like, nah, we're done with you. The damage that man has done to our lives is going to be revealed for years to come. Because sure, let's say we impeach him and we get somebody new in office and we try to fix things. They're not going to trust the American people because at the end of the day, collectively, whether you voted for him or not, our people put that man in that place. And that speaks volumes as to who we are as people. People don't trust us anymore. And unfortunately, even if we didn't vote for him, we're on that boat too. And I will never, ever, ever forgive you. Yes, you. If you put that man in office, I will never fucking forgive you. And if you still support him, then I want to see you on the front lines of World War III because that's what you voted for.
Man, I think America is cooked. I think this whole tariff war is not a great idea because I solely believe we should not be depending on other countries, but we are not independent ourselves. I don't think we as a country have been independent for a very long time. I think it's great to bring back jobs back to the United States of America. I think that's what we need. But here's the problem. I'm going to give myself as an example. I think one of the American dreams here is you could start your own business, but the costs and the profit margin in starting your own business, and even when you thrive, is just not worth it in the end. I had a little side business on the weekends. I had my day job during the week, and I had a photo booth business on the weekends. And the reason why I was so profitable is because I did everything under cash. I didn't have to let the government know what I was making. As I grew, things got a little more complicated. So if I went legit, I had my business license, and I had my tax, reseller's ID and tax ID, and I had all that stuff. But since I was doing everything cash, eventually the government's like, hey, you know what? You've had this business for a couple of years. Why haven't you made any money? So as I grew, I had to at least let them know, hey, I'm making some kind of money. Now, it scared me to death to let them know what I was making because I wouldn't get much back in profit. The more I grew as a company, and let's say if I did things the right way, and let's say I hired somebody and I had to get insurance with them, and then if they got hurt and there's workers' comp, basically my profit margin, the better I got, the better my business got, my profit margin slowly went down. I'd still make a lot of money, but my profit margin is a lot lower. And me as a business owner, I want everybody to thrive, but I could barely thrive myself after putting in all the work. So if I hired somebody, I couldn't afford to pay them what I really wanted to. So one day I was growing so much that I had to either quit my day job or go full force with this side job. And after looking at everything, if I went legit, it just didn't make sense to me. I'd be working way harder and not making enough money, and I couldn't really hire somebody else to help me out. So just cutting everybody off, China, Mexico, Canada, essentially that's what you're doing by raising the price so much, and they're not willing to negotiate. Well, how is that going to bring businesses back to America? It is. But how are you going to bring back thriving business when we don't have any incentives to start our own business? In order to make this work, and I thought the administration, had an ace up their sleeve, but at this point, I think they were just going in with no plan. They thought everyone would just yield to, our needs. But basically, I haven't heard anything from this administration to have a plan B. I don't think they ever had one. So in order to have thriving businesses back here in America, you'd have to give leasing incentives, tax incentives, and just incentives to start your own business. It's so hard. It is pretty difficult just alone to start your business. You got to get a business license. You got to get a fictitious name. There's a lot that goes into it. It's a little bit better now because I had my business a while ago, but it's easier now, but still just having the money up front to a business that is going to tax you to no end is just ridiculous. So I think this whole tariff stuff is going to get us in big trouble. So we'll see. I think the lower class, the middle class, we're going to be hurting pretty bad, and things are going to change. A lot of businesses are going to close, and we're going to have to shift and figure things out, because if you're not getting incentives for people to start their own businesses here, people are just going to be struggling starting businesses. And I think the government just wants us to work for pennies on the dollars and then taxes. That's everything in America. Anytime you think they're doing something good for you, they're going to get you later down the road. Once you're being successful or doing something good, they're going to raise the price on something, the companies, and then the government's going to do nothing to help with the increase on products or increase on leasing spaces, and then they're just going to want their cut at the end, like, hey, well, guess what, you made more money, so we're going to tax you more. So that's why I think we're cooked.
Here's my question. What are poor people supposed to be doing? Like, everyone's like, hey, you should be stockpiling because the cargo ships aren't coming into the ports anymore, so we're not going to be having any more products delivered to America. You know what I'm saying? And they're saying, stock up on all the essentials. Okay, I can barely afford the things that I need for this week, let alone stocking up.
So what are the poor people supposed to be doing? Anyone?
Want to know how I knew the economy was in pure shambles? This is the exact instance. It wasn't when everybody was saying, oh, inflation is going up, when gas was so high. Nope. My friend and me were sitting down having a gentle conversation. I had $20 in my pocket. I said, hey, you want to go to Dollar Tree? He said, yeah. We go to Dollar Tree. I grabbed 20 items. I grabbed 10. He grabs 10. So, naturally, I'm thinking we're going to walk out with 20 items. They ring me up for like $27. I'm confused. I say, what happened? I only got 20 items. She says, at the cash register, she says, oh, everything's $1.25. At that exact moment, I knew that the economy was in shatters. Dollar Tree has been a staple for so long that everything costs $1. I didn't care about $5 footlong. I didn't care about $1 drink from McDonald's. I didn't care about $1 McChicken. I didn't care about none of that. I didn't care about a lick of that. I didn't care if the dollar menu from Taco Bell sucks now. That was unimportant. But when Dollar Tree, the place that's known for everything costing $1, increased its price by 25 cents, that is a drastic increase on every item in that store. You're probably thinking to yourself, it's not that serious. It is that serious. If any other store increased the price of something by 25%, I would be flabbergasted. I'd be like, oh man, what is going on? That's a large jump. And sure, it happened with other stores. It happened with McDonald's. Sure, it was slow creep with McDonald's. The Big Mac started costing more money. Cheeseburgers started costing more. But that was gradual. That was okay. I didn't care about that. The Dollar Tree fiasco, because I shopped at Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree is where I got my dish soap. It's where I got my brooms. It's where I got my lint rollers. It's where I got my toothpaste, toothbrushes. That 25% increase, that turns $5 from 4 items. Well, $5 from 5 items into 4 items. $10 into 8 items. $15 into 12 items. Yeah, 12 items. Yeah, I'm doing the math right. It's insane. They just keep increasing the price. I was like, man, this is crazy. I'm so baffled. And we walked out with only like 13 items because we only had a $20 bill. It's a big jump to lose that many items. We lost so much. The economy is in tatters right now. I am so upset how everything's costing more. We're getting paid less just for existing. It's getting weird, man. It's getting really weird.